Alright guys and girls, long time no see, eh? Anyway, I thought we'd do a few videos here because I've finally done that one thing that every automotive YouTuber apparently has to do. Apparently it is compulsory. Now I'm not talking about stupid clickbait thumbnails like some of them do, and I'm certainly not talking about pimping my wife out by making her sit in the passenger seat with a low cut top on like some of them do. I'm talking about, I've bought a Porsche, guys and girls. I've bought a flipping Porsche Cayman S, and how fantastic does that look? But not only that, it was an absolute steal, so it was. Or at least at first glance, it was a steal. You see, I bought this car from a Copart auction, and it was actually a private entry. The car has never been in any accidents or anything like that to the best of my knowledge. But the problem was, although it ran and drove, the engine smoked badly, and it was quite obvious in the description. They'd actually wrote in at Copart, they'd actually put in the description that the engine smokes. It was a private entry, the car. Basically somebody had it and they'd put it into the auction themselves. So we bid on it. Basically, my dad had an engine out of his Cayman, because my dad's got a Cayman as well, and he's put an uprated engine in his. So the original engine from his car had only done 40,000 miles and was in fantastic condition, and it was sitting in his garage basically. So I've been on the lookout for one of these to put the engine in, or at least my dad had been. Now that's where the idea came in. I seen this and I phoned my dad up and says, look, basically this Porsche is going through the auction. I think it would be ideal for that engine that you've got, because it might need an engine in it. And basically we kind of decided what we were going to bid, and I think my dad says bid up to £7,000 on it with fees, which would still have been a cheap car, considering he had an engine sitting in his garage. So he was going to do that, and the chances he was maybe going to put the engine in it for himself and run about in it or sell it or whatever. But the more I thought about it, I went and picked it up, and well, we had to bid on it first. Didn't we? So we bid on it and we actually won it for about 5,000. Just over 5 grand I think it was, plus fees. So it was about £6,000 in total with fees, which was an absolute bargain, even if the engine did need changed in it. So basically I went and after winning it, I went and picked it up at the auction, and the body on it was, well, the body's actually really fantastic. I mean, it needs a good polish and it needs a good clean, but looking around it was just a good honest car really. It just seemed to be, I mean, there's no major accident damage, all the panels line up, there's no major dents, there's no scratches in the panels, there's a couple of usage marks here and there, but generally speaking it was a good honest wee car, just had an engine problem. Now I'm going to show you a video of it running actually when we got it back to my dad's house, and here it is here.
Wagon stunning greet with my motor going away.
What's the noise? The oil on it!
What's the oil?
The oil on it!
What's the oil? Okay, come to that.
What's the oil? Let's go down the oil because you're finished right enough. because of the smoke. That's scary. I can't see a joke, eh? Hold on. I'm trying to get the back on it. So yeah, as you can see for that wee clip, this wasn't just an issue with a head gasket or something minor like the oil evaporation system or something like that. This engine, the engine that was in it, was goosed. Basically, it was absolutely rubber ducked. So I had to change the engine in it. Now, I got it back home and basically I had limited time to get the engine changed, because although I done it in the garage at home, I don't just store cars in the car in the garage. We more use the garage for like doing laundry in and stuff like that, and there's fridges and freezers in it and stuff. It's basically an extension of the house. So although I had to get the car in and get it done, I had to do it fast, and there's also not very much room in there to film stuff. So I got some wee bits here and there, but I've put the engine in it already, and it was actually really simple to do. The engine basically just comes out, obviously it's in the middle on the Cayman S, and it is the Cayman S. It's the full 3.4S with a 6-speed box, and it basically just, you unloosen everything and it basically just drops out with the gearbox connected. It's actually, apart from being awkward and having to lie underneath it and get it up high enough, it's actually a really straightforward job. And there is another guy on YouTube who's done a video of him changing his engine, and it's fantastic. So if you're interested in changing the engine on a Boxster or a Cayman, I'll link that video below, because that's the video I used for reference. Now, what I'm left with is a Cayman S. It's 2006, so it's 17 years old, and it's got a nice low mileage engine in it, but the rest of the car's done 75,000 miles. So there is sort of wear and tear, and we're going to have to kind of go through that and see what else needs done to the car. We'll talk about driving it next day. So what's it like to drive? It's been great, it's been absolutely flipping brilliant, so it is. Considering that I bought it, the only thing I had seen of it was some photos at the last minute on an auction site, and we bid on it, and we were just literally going off the photos. We knew it needed engine work, so we had an engine, so we put an engine in it, and it's literally, once we put the engine in, it just behaved. Normally when you put a new engine in a car, or when I put a new engine in a car, there's stuff to iron out on them. You've got wiring to tidy up, you've got there's lights on the dash that need sort of plugged in and switched off, and there's just, you need to spend a few hours on them just ironing out everything, you know. There might be exhaust leaks or something like that you need to sort. This thing here, we literally just put the engine in, connected everything up, and it's worked. It has been fantastic. There's no smoke for the exhaust, it pulls well, it idles well, it does everything really good. Now, there is some sort of other things that doesn't mean that there's nothing needing done to the car. There is. The suspension on the car, for example, the bushes, I think especially, there's a vagueness to the steering, especially around about sort of high speeds and stuff like that. There's just, I can't really put my finger on it. It's not as accurate as it should be, I don't think, and I just think that maybe the bushes are more, and they're 17 years old, the rubber bushes are bound to have deteriorated, let's be honest. So we'll need to have a look, check them out. Also the brakes, they're not as sort of sharp as they should be. They work, if you press them hard enough, they will lock, they're perfectly safe, but they're just not got that sort of sharpness to them. You need to really press them. Now, I know that that's a kind of common complaint with the car, but I think there's more to it. I think maybe the brake pads are maybe by their best, or maybe the discs are, there's something I just feel like they could be better, so we'll need to look at them. Also, things like the window switches on the driver's door that control both the windows. It's a bit temperamental. Sometimes you'll press the windows and they'll go all the way down. Sometimes you'll press it and it won't go down. And then sometimes you're left trying to put the window up, like fiddling about with it. Which can be a bit annoying, especially if it started raining. I mean, basically, there is some wear and tear marks on it here and there. The interior is in pretty good order actually. The seats are good, there's no big holes or tears in them or rips or anything like that. There is some wear on the air con knobs, the knobs that control sort of the vents and the temperature. They've kind of worn funnily actually, but it must be quite a common issue with them because you can actually buy them on eBay. That's pretty much it really as far as wear and tear on the interior goes. It's really pretty good in there. It needs a really good clean. It's got the perforated leather on the seats, what I really like, because it lets your farts out. They need a clean as well. The seats look sort of, well, they're shiny. They shouldn't be shiny, they should be nice and satin. But apart from that, pretty straightforward to clean. Oh yeah, there's an airbag warning light on because I've had to take the seat out now. In order to get into the engine and the pulleys in the front, you have to take the passenger seat out to change all that. So I've had to take the seat out and I've put it back in, but there's an airbag warning light on now, so we will need to look at that. But there we go. In the next video, I'm going to put it on the ramp and we're going to get the wheels off and go through it mechanically and get a proper look at it underneath, because there simply wasn't really any sort of proper space to do that in my garage at home. So join in me in the next one, guys and girls, because I still think, oh by the way, what did it cost me? All said and done, it owes me about 9 grand. Basically I bought the car off my dad, then the engine, and I was into it for about just under £10,000 I think, by the time with fees and stuff like that, and petrol, and then I've got the old engine that I've managed to sell and get some of the money back for that, 500 quid, and then some other wee bits and pieces that I'm wheeling and dealing. I've done the cats that were on the engine that was in this, the ones that were knackered because they were full of oil, but they were worth a couple of £100 each, it turns out. So there was 2 of those, so that was 400 quid. So I got £1,000 back between the engine and the catalytic converters, which was a double win that. So basically I'm into a Cayman S with 75,000 miles for 9 grand basically, and I think that is a bargain. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is stuff needing done and you're coming along for the ride hopefully, but tune in for the next video, guys and girls, anyway, and we'll see all the other sort of little niggles, try and iron them out, and then after that we'll go on to sort of modifications, because there's some stuff I want to do to it just to enhance it, make it that wee bit better, both mechanical and external as well, because I'd like to sort of do something at the front with this bumper, put an extension on it, or you can actually get nice GT3 style bumpers for the front of them actually, maybe one of those. I prefer the 19-inch wheels on them as well. These 18s are, although they're a nice wheel, they look a bit lost in the arches I think, so I'd like to source a set of the 19s that go with it, the original ones. Maybe a set of big brakes on it, lower it a little bit. It's got the adaptive suspension option on it, which is cool, but it does seem that on its softest setting it's too soft and on its hardest setting it's too hard, and there's no in the middle. So, I mean, I've kind of got used to driving on the soft setting, but it just feels a bit wallowy, but that might be the suspension as well, the actual bushes and stuff that are worn out. So anyway, guys and girls, tune in the next video, and I hope you're along for the ride, and let's see what's wrong with it. Almost compulsory. Pardon me, Jesus Christ, can't I put that in the video? Everybody likes, well, we'll wait and see. Oh, for fuck's sake, fucked that one up, didn't I?